So the name of my game is Wicked Escape, and this is a key control adventure platformer where the player has to make the character move between platforms while dealing with enemies. And at the same time, the player has to collect items relating to the narrative development. For the background story, the witch is locked up in the castle's dungeon by the king because he believes her power challenges his authority. And to prevent the witch from escaping, the king hid her three most powerful items, which are the wand, the broomstick, and her magic cape. Hence, in order to get out, the witch has to defeat the guards and get her lost possessions. So there are 3 levels implemented in this game, and the player can escalate levels by collecting the character's lost items at the end of each level. Although the game is divided into 3 different levels, to match the narrative and to maintain the whole gaming experience, the player's health does not refill in between each level, so the player has to survive until the end to win the game. And to balance out the challenge, there will also be 1 health booster provided at each level for the player to pick up. For the key control part, we use the coded keys to move vertically or horizontally and use spacebar to shoot. In the first level, the player can only move and jump, and the enemies can't move nor shoot. The player has to collect the wand to get to the next level, and the first level is pretty easy to start with. There's a bit of lacking. I guess it's because I'm screen recording. In the second level, the enemies were able to shoot to balance the scale up of the game, and since the player has collected the wand in previous level, the witch will now be able to cast spells and attack the enemies. After collecting the broomstick, the witch will get into the next level. The system is really slowing the game down. In the last level, the king would appear and will be able to move and shoot. With the broomstick the player collected in the previous level, the witch will be able to fly through this level. And since the broom is pretty strong power up, the player won't be able to cast spell in this level, so the player has to dodge the bullets from enemies and get the last item, which is the cape, to win the game. And now you can replay or just start over. And for the ECO features of the game, the pictures of the characters and items were found online, and I spent a lot of time on matching each of them to maintain the whole spooky yet playful vibe. And most of them were single pictures at first and were not ready for animation with sequential images. So I had to further edit them in Photoshop and play around with the pixels, especially for the witch. I have to design and create her different actions. For example, the shooting action in level 2, and because there's a state changing power up that leads to different movement in each level, so I have to design many different sequential images to complete the animation. And I really like the sound clips I found of a little girl during her gaming. Her sound effects really makes the whole experience more interesting, especially when, okay, I'll try to lose. Because there's a game over sound that I really like. It's also from the gaming little girl.
Game over.
Hear that? I really like that. So this is my game.